Shenandoah women's basketball tips off this Saturday with a road game facing off against Catholic out of Washington, D.C. I have the pleasure of being joined by the head women's basketball coach of the Shenandoah Hornets, Melissa Smeltzer-Kraft. Coach, good to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, first and foremost, the last time we spoke pretty early into the practice time, getting set for the start of the season. I know by now you've probably had one or two scrimmages. How has that portion of the preseason getting ready for the start of the season been for you all?
Yeah, crazy. It seems like yesterday you were here, but a lot has happened in terms of our team and its development. Yes, we had two scrimmages, one home, one away. Both really good learning experiences, having refs, facing a team that doesn't know what we're doing and doesn't care and, is going to push us to be the best. And I think we got what we needed out of those experiences. And now we're looking down, the end of the road of about a 10-day prep for Catholic.
So, in those scrimmages, sort of what are you evaluating the most in terms of what you see out of your team and what you like best? Because I know in a scrimmage, live game reps, it doesn't really count. So I assume you can get a lot of different combinations in there to see what you and the staff really like the most.
I think first and foremost is getting kids out there and, getting their sea legs as ready as we can get them. And for some kids, it's the first time they're playing in a game at the collegiate level. Getting used to the officials, getting used to just that extra level of butterflies in the belly. And a road scrimmage matters to get on the bus. All those really, really simple things. You can't take those moments for granted and can't assume how special it feels. And, just getting the kids acclimated to that stuff. And then from there, it's like you said, chemistry, combinations, exploring different things. And really what we're trying to do is focus on us. And that's the way I approach the scrimmages. That's the way we try to here is learning as much as we can through two games that we get that are basically private and closed door experiences. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be, I don't know, that explorative piece of combinations and what's working, what's not working. And then I think for the kids that have done this before, it's about getting those reps and, trying to catch the young ones up to the pace and what's expected of Saturday in that first game.
And chemistry off the court too, that's a huge thing. From when we met for a preseason to talk about the team up until now, I can only imagine that the bond between this team has only grown stronger going into this Saturday as well.
Yes, for sure. Time helps all of that, right? And our experiences shared together through practice and not practice, and different things that we do and different activities that we've had help with that. And I think this team and this group are very intentional about chalking up those moments and putting them in the basket that is this team and our chemistry.
So, as we take a look traveling to Washington, D.C. on the road to face off a non conference opponent in Catholic University, and right out of the gate, your team has a tough test here with this Catholic team last year, going 26-3, 17-1 in their conference, making it 2 rounds deep in the NCAA tournament. My question sort of to this coach, a tough test in a non-conference schedule to start off your season. I would imagine that is a good thing to get your players ready and sort of a telling point on how this season is to go come game one. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think even through the scrimmages, we were like, okay, these are things we've been saying. And now you have an outside force trying to hold you accountable to say this isn't right or this isn't working. And by facing a team that's ranked in the top 20 in both the WBCA poll and the D3hoops.com poll, we're able to show our kids right away this is what a great team looks like and have a shot at beating them, and kind of setting the tone for our season. But the bar is really high in terms of our expectations. I know that to be true for Catholic as well, so I'm really excited to be opening with them.
Yeah, and just looking at this Catholic team, a tough test, but I know you in what you've done with this program, you'll have your players ready to play. Just looking at what you've seen from Catholic, or maybe a sort of an inside perspective from your mind, what is the best way in your mind that you go about prepping for teams? And I know it's the first game of the season. You might not have much tape to evaluate what this team is bringing to the court come Saturday. But what is that like in terms of preparation for this Catholic team?
Yeah, I mean, they do return 4 of their 5 starters from a season ago, and we were able to play them last November, and we were able to watch them through the NCAA tournament. Their season actually ended at Washington and Lee against the Generals, and we were locked in and watching that game as fans of both programs. And so there is tape in some ways. Obviously, they could evolve just like we are evolving, but the personnel is eerily similar. They carry a really deep, strong roster, and like us, lost in the championship game of their conference, and I'm sure are hungry to prove everybody wrong through this season.
So, looking at the Lady Hornets last season, looking back on last season, you carried a pretty deep bench, plugging and playing people in different positions, if you will. This year, just looking at what you have, I know the game plan might be different based off opponent, but how do you feel about your roster and the depth come this game as well? Because I know the depth is sort of a big thing when it comes to college basketball as well.
Yeah, I think the depth of our program and teams in the ODAC across men's and women's basketball is really important. And so we obviously have our starters returning from last season, but have put a massive emphasis on the next crew up. And that core will look different than it did a year ago, and we're really excited to kind of infuse new players in there, and I'm really excited to see new faces and the influence they can have over our team, and keep us fresh and diversify what we do, both offensively and defensively.
I like the term diversify there. And you mentioned that you have some core returners there. Come game one, and again, you don't have to tip your game plan or whatnot, but if there's an instance where you have one of the newer players, newer up and coming players in for a portion of the game with some of the returners, core group of girls that you have on this team, how huge is it to get that in-game experience against a quality opponent in Catholic to start off this season?
I think it's immensely important. And we've kind of said to the women that are in that second string, like, you're going to play, your role is evolved from a year ago, and just expect to play, be ready. And, it's this fine balance of ignorance is bliss and throwing them out there. And you also don't want to throw them to the wolves. But at the end of the day, you learn through making mistakes and those big time experiences. And I think that was a luxury that some of our younger players didn't have a year ago, because our second string was built off of a core group of senior guards. And this is how the starters have gotten so good, is by playing experience and ironing through what happens in a basketball game, which is a lot of mistakes. And mistakes include missed assignments, they include missed shots, and that's just a massive part of the game. And we've got to build confidence from day one. And, again, playing a team that's really good, we'll see what a bar looks like for our success, and as well as what a team that is regarded as a top team in our country looks like.
And also with your core group of returners in the young women coming up in this program as well. I know you and an assistant coach, but sort of your leaders on the team help out as well in sort of coaching them up. Come game one, the tail end of practice is getting prepared for this game on Saturday. How huge is it to have leaders on your team that you can count on to help out in that regard?
Oh gosh, the leadership component of all of this is tremendous and is a massive part of how we try to do things. I don't get to play in the games. I'm sitting there in dress clothes, like I'm a suit during it. So they understand better than anyone else what does it feel like and what they need to do, and so they help as best as they can impart that wisdom on the younger ones and try to expedite some of those things just for them to feel as confident as possible despite it being game one. And I think this particular group again does a really good job of trying to pull people together and along, and understanding that we need everyone on our team to do well for us to be successful. It's not someone or someone, and it's not tit for tat. It's all of us can rise up. And I think that starts with leadership. And I think our starting five really exudes that at a really high level.
And I must say, Coach, I just got to ask on a scale 1 to 10, how hype are you just to get ready to play some college basketball? Because I know once game one, the season just goes by game after game after game. It's a busy time of year for you all.
Yeah, it is. I'm very excited. Part of me cannot believe that it is here, but I've been watching a little bit of games on TV from the Division One experience. I haven't been watching a ton. It's field hockey season in my house, so the overlap of field hockey. I got my field hockey shirt on. Field hockey and basketball is real right now, so just trying to enjoy the moment with both teams and cheer for the Hornets as hard as possible as these fall sports end. But basketball will get to steal the show for all of winter, and I'm excited for that.
It's Shenandoah traveling to Catholic in Washington, D.C. Always a pleasure to be joined by the head coach of Shenandoah women's basketball, Melissa Smeltzer-Kraft. Coach, hopefully this is not the last time. Always appreciate your time and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.